And again, elimination on the line in this series, so definitely want to, you know, give yourself your best effort.
So this is it. One team progresses. One team is left behind. Ignore the top. It is Spirit against VP. It is no longer Furia and Pain. So we'll be jumping and delving into the T side from Spirit's perspective as they push straight through towards the box halls, and they're not slowing down. Bit of utility as well on VP, interestingly enough. 2 smokes, HE, and a flash, affording the luxury of having a kit. But Spirit haven't pulled the trigger just yet.
Nope, just still kind of gathering up here. They didn't really get too much utility, just the 1 smoke, 1 flash. Maybe just going to try to smoke off the sidewalk and just try to pop flash their way in here. They're trying to come out the cloud. Jane does spot it, but again, the flash kind of pushes him back. Now he's just watching for them to try to drop down into sight from the ladder position, but his shots go astray. And it's a 5-on-5 retake.
No longer the case. Magix is taking that one away. Put Sanji in his back pocket. Kicker returns the favor. And now Yakindar just staring down towards the recess of B site. 2 players still on the site itself, with Mia pushing up through oil. Beautiful headshot from Jame. Instantly carves a path back on towards the site. Yakindar now playing aggressively. Gets 1. Has no right to even get close to a second frag, but Chopper shuts him down. However, all the blood has been spilled. Do they have enough time? They still need the kick to get onto this fight. This is going to be really close. But I think he just got there in the nick of time, Kicker. Indeed he does. But there was a couple of moments there where VP were looking over their shoulders and a bit scared.
Why did he drop a smoke before starting the defuse?
I can only assume raw panic, Dust. Just straight up panic.
Because that almost cost them. That is what delayed the defuse there a little bit. There's no need to smoke. Ain't nobody got no Molotov out there. Vince looking to stop you. That was... Oh, that was an interesting route to victory.
Do you think it may have been a bad call? And like they didn't realize everyone was dead?
I guess that's possible. Well, I mean, that's the really only thing I can actually think of, so you might be onto something. Hard to know. Both teams bought out here. Obviously, that bomb plant Spirit looking to try to immediately strike with the Galils and AK Tech 9 for some Young Deagle for Chopper. Obviously, rifles for VP, a scout for Jame, and MP9 for Yakindar. Damage being exchanged both ways right now as Mira's looking for a peek over towards E-Box. Again, Spirit definitely kind of got this vibe for them that they love the slower pace style of play. We saw that time and time again against Fiend, and as well as even G2 in their opening match on Mirage. I'll be honest with you, Vince, they looked a little bit dodgy yesterday. Like, obviously, Dexter had the one huge map against G2 where he got 35 kills regulation, but then was kind of struggling at times against Fiend. But we had an interview with him where he talked about how he was going to go to work immediately to try to watch some demos and sort out what went wrong and try to bring it today with some adjustments. So we'll see how that pans out.
I think the same could be said of Yakindar. A really good first half and slowed down in the second one. But speak of the man, it is Dexter to break the shackles over on IV to open up business on A, where, to be honest, it's scarce of CT presence. The most favored site there was 3 players on B site. Now they come onto the site though in just enough time. Yakindar leading the charge. 15 seconds, all it takes is a kill or 2 and this round could be done, but instead Spirit come out swinging with the Galil in the hands of Magix. Exquisite work from him. And Jame can do little but ponder a save. With the scout, does have Kevlar behind it, but Spirit proving that they are more than capable in this force buy of making it work.
Yeah, some teams would sometimes elect to just full save and go for the full AK buy in round 3 when they get that first round bomb plant. But Spirit wanting to go ahead and try to strike early, and strike they did. It did come down to like the last 15 seconds or so where you started to get a bit concerned that maybe someone from Spirit might be able to disrupt the plant, and or excuse me, from someone from VP would disrupt the plant and cause Spirit to have some real problems. You know, certainly Yakindar was in a dangerous position there up on the bomb train, also a player in heaven. But both got caught thanks to Magix. 2 Qs goes at the Galil to ensure the bomb would go down, and they just mop up from that point forward, not losing a single player on the route to victory. They tie out the game immediately 1-1, and money is not there for VP to force back. Maybe some upgraded pistols at best, so a great chance for Spirit, despite losing the pistol against that retake, still able to maybe kick off a pretty solid early lead.
It's almost the perfect scenario, honestly, for the Ts. Like, you lose the first round, and that sounds like a weird statement to make, but it completely cripples the economy of the CTs. They're into a sort of weird, sketchy buy. They won't be able to get another one into the next round regardless. They know they're into a double eco sort of territory here. So this is a fast track for Spirit on their choice of map to get a really decent foundation built on their T half. VP already in a spot of bother. However, 4 Deagles to try and battle their way out of this predicament. It's only James not going in for an investment, understandably. Obviously, he wants to get the AWP when he can get his hands on it. Sanji getting burnt in Pop Dog. A forward safe passage for Spirit in there. That looked a little bit dodgy. Some Young staring at the ground.
You know, his knees buckled a little bit with that plummet. Not really using the ladder, more just kind of hopping down. Makes a little bit of a sound cue. Oh, Sanji trying to get it close to Deagle, cut someone off far, but, well, that was anticlimactic from his perspective. It's just Chopper mowing people down with Mir on this outer site. Round will go to Spirit any moment now.
It most certainly will. Kicker at least has the element of being incognito with his Deagle positioning, but that's really it. Best case, maybe gets a frag, and then the T's will just swarm him. 40 seconds, they're taking their sweet time to get on the site. One of the criticisms, I guess we could say, that we had a Spirit against Fiend is at times they were very, very slow. Understandable in this round. I'm definitely not holding that against them for here, but maybe something to watch out for in further rounds, that they, on overpass, were often pushing with 10, 15 seconds left, and it put them in a really bad spot multiple times. So I'm curious if that is something that they've looked into. Dexter having said, look, we'll go through our demos. We're a really hard-working team. Everybody's always playing FPL. We're always discussing over tactics and these kinds of things. Maybe that's something they did pick up on. Hickert, though, will have Magic's coming to him, and he delivers the Galil straight to his doorstep. However, I don't think he survives and lives to tell the tale. He certainly won't.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair point, right? Like I said, we did speak to Dexter a little bit. We talked about how there was some consistency issues with them, hot and cold flashes throughout their games yesterday, and I think you're spot on that, we kind of even mentioned that we looked like we were watching 2017 Flipside Tactics at times when we watched Spirit try to roll out a T-strat. And, there's one thing about playing slow and methodical and taking your time and assessing map control and making good mid-round decisions and not getting, overly aggressive or, forcing yourself into maybe some type of stack or, not checking your angles. But there is a speed at which you move too slow and it becomes a real problem if things start to go wrong in the late round. And so, yeah, you got to find that balance. Same round here from VP, trying to pop flash, do something, getting it in T-Con. They do get one, and they actually do collect an AK. But are so low on health now, flush out the Molotov, and looks like we will see the mop-up now from VP.
The AK did reside in Sanji's hands for a millisecond before he's obliterated by Young's MP9, and this is the moment we've been waiting for. James has an AWP, has a Kevlar behind it as well.
Here we go. First real test for both teams now to see if Spirit can keep the good times rolling here on the T side of Train on their pick, or if VP are now ready to strike back. James will have the AWP. Limited utility, but enough incendiaries to stop Spirit for going for some type of faster push towards Olaf or outer yard in general. They're going to put the smokes out pretty early, though, towards bomb trains. It sounds like they don't want to waste too much time trying to pry open this outer split. Trying to come in on Ivy as well. The thing is, though, Sanji playing kind of past that smoke as Yukindar with them, and those smokes don't really provide any value for Spirit.
One thing that has been consistent in this matchup is that when these two teams play best of 3, they typically go the distance.
Yes.
Out of the 4 times they've played in the last year, 3 of them have gone to a third map-up.
Again, a lot of close scores too, including like 1 or 2 maps that went into like single and double overtime. So yeah, you're right. Definitely usually played close. Between the ladder, dropped. Oh my God! It's raining men. There's no Hallelujah events.
Unless you're a VP fan, in which case you're loving it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The sky opens up and Spirit.
I've never seen a double stack fail that hard.
Yeah. They did some damage to Sanji, but that's basically it. You at least want to go for one trade in that
yeah.
situation.
It seemed like a hard read from VP to have both players in ladder room like that, ready for that drop. Maybe just having, again, some scouting reports on their opponent. again, Spirit this round just looked really dull to me, though. Like, throwing smokes at outer but not using them for anything. I don't know if they got hit with counter utility that slowed them down from building off those 2 smokes when they threw them immediately at the start of the round or what. But, again, a theme of Spirit and a lot of the reason why they've had downfalls is just due to hesitancy.
Spirit will be holding on to their AWP and their M4. Tons of cash in the bank. No real issue for Spirit to just delve back in and get another purchase. Good news for VP, though. Their first test of full-on rifles on both sides has been passed by and large. I'm curious with that double stack drop failing so epically, if we see that put into play again, or if they just take the hint and don't bother.
I mean, usually you're going to drop some type of flash or something to go kind of alongside to supplement it. Or maybe, you know, you see a lot of teams kind of set the double Molotov play through the windows to kind of flush players out of that position before you drop down. That hurts a lot. Kind of forced to run back through it, though. Otherwise, he would have had to go forward, and that's where he would have been exposed. So, well-timed incendiary there from VP. Chopper does spot the player inside ladder room.
Actually, that looks foolish not to just extinguish the Molotov, but I think that's the correct play from Spirit. It affords them an extra smoke for an execute, but more importantly, if you throw a smoke down in main, you're actually doing the CTs a favor. You can't threaten the re-peek instantly, so it hurts for Dexter. It sucks, they do go for the double peek, and this time they catch Buster with a grenade out. Yakindar straight away returns fire, though. It's at great cost to his HP down to 12.
Yeah, getting to the mid-round here in a 4-on-4 situation. No map control really taken here from Spirit. Yeah, they got the pick at ladder room, but now they have no more presence on that area of the map. 2 players towards Ivy, maybe setting up the outer split through T-Con and Ivy simultaneously. Again, Yakindar playing that up-close position, though, is going to be right there to stuff them. They might be in a little bit of trouble. If they can get Yakindar down, they get main advantage, and they get access to outer sight.
This is an important moment, and Yakindar getting one on anticipating a double peek, tried to retreat back onto the sanctuary of the A site, but it costs him his life. Null and void, player advantage. Magic should have Jane dead to rights. Gets it done, a bit late, but fortunate it was only the AWP and not an assault rifle. Now Molly to the back of sight will put Sanji in real trouble. Needs help from Pop Dog. Kicker will oblige with one. Nearly doubles up. As Sanji's position is known, and he's not exactly the highest fragger on VP. Put in an awkward position. Spirit bounce straight back with a win of their own.
Indeed they do, but again, that came down to the final 6 seconds, Vince. If one little thing would have gone wrong, you get out gets 2 kills and gets bombed down, or, you know, that Ivy push doesn't, you know, work out because Jane turns around in time, Spirit would have fumbled. So while it's great they took a victory and they're up 4-2 and, you know, things are, you know, going pretty well, generally speaking, for their T side, that is still really room for concern about their pacing because they're putting themselves in some really tight spots in the late round, and that could come back to haunt them later. In the meantime, a little bit odd that there's just no Ivy coverage in that 3-on-3, or that Jane wouldn't play a safer position if you know Ivy can't be covered. It kind of just gave Spirit a way back into the round despite their struggles throughout the course of that round. At the end of the day, though, Spirit had the 4-2 lead. A tactical timeout comes out. Extra time for both teams to think things through. But again, they haven't played each other in about 4 or 5 months now. So while they have familiarity being from the same region and maybe from practice and obviously had a track record against each other in 2020, might be some things that they, you know, aren't used to yet, or maybe some new tricks up each other's sleeves. As we have VP coming into this with a very labored buy. 2 FAMAS, 1 Scout, and an MP9.
Concerning sign as well, is one of the players that you highlighted that's typically on there, Mr. Consistent, of Buster. He's yet to get off the mark. He's 0-5. Hasn't really had any impact whatsoever in this game. Obviously, that can change quickly. There's another double stack peak. Spirit with full confidence in their ability. Sanji with the MP9. Good first and does a lot of damage to Sundai Young. He's really done his job, and now Jane can finish off Mia. The flashbang from Magic's doing more harm than good. Getting the assist on his fallen teammate. VP with the advantage.
Yeah, Sundai Young's vulnerability is still out there on the field as well. It was the headshot from Jame on a different player, leaving the vulnerable target still out there for someone else to collect, as there's already an inner halls push taking place here from Kicker. He has that route covered. They can just focus on outer yard now, but Magic's a huge entry onto Yakindar, but this timing could be everything because Kicker might get the flank off here through Pop Dog. Indeed he does, Vince.
Oh, the Molotov. That does more harm than good for Dexter. He was assuming that no one would be able to peek him from that position. Another molly goes in. Kikut's burning. Has to throw the smoke just to keep himself alive. Keep in mind there's a molly just behind him as well from Dexter.
Uh-oh. How?
Kikut survives. Sundai Young continues to push forward. However, the trajectory of that grenade is going to be known to both the remaining CTs, and he's caught on the ladder. So frustrating from Sundai Young's perspective. For VP, they bounce straight back. It's back-to-back rounds.
Yeah, you thought Kicker was done for, and that HE grenade gets tossed in there. It seemed like it should be on the mark to finish him off, but he survives with 10, and that means he's going to be a lingering threat on the field. That makes it a little more difficult for the remaining Spirit member to feel confident, take the 1v1 to get that bomb back. And so that's VP getting a couple of rounds. And that was, again, off of a very low buy situation where the backs are up against the ropes economically, Vince. They could have been forced to save. And that's where Spirit could have built the lead up. But now both teams find themselves in kind of a 2-for-1 deal type round. Whoever takes this will likely win the follow-up. So a chance for VP to take the lead back. Chance for Spirit to build on theirs.
Two players on the catwalk very quickly indeed, but the timing works against Chopper. He nearly had Kikut, who goes in for seconds and dies. He was acting as a pivot point, a springboard for the rest of his teammates to rotate off. Maybe got a bit greedy and puts the rest of VP into an awkward position as a result. They still have some utility. 3 grenades, one of which has just been tossed to the back of the site, but doesn't really do anything. Sanji finishes off Sundai Young. Yakinda has flanked himself all the way around the back, and he is playing this passively. There is no reason to check this position if you are Spirit, and he has this round in the palm of his hands. Is he going to grip down? Dexter around the corner. Yakinda gets 2, and James has him on the overwatch. Beautiful play from Yakinda. And Magic so unlikely to clutch out from this position. There is James again. The fact that he just held on, Dust, for those extra few seconds was everything.
I'm surprised he can move with stones that big, man. I mean, because like you said, there's no reason to check the spot, sure, but you never know, right? What if Chopper just happened to want to turn back to look at a teammate that was coming down the ramp or something? I mean, it could have blown up in his face, but it didn't. He has a discipline to hold on to the trigger for just a bit, and he winds up yielding such a huge result because of it. Now it's just a deco here for Spirit. A chance for VP to take the lead back here. James already with the striking blow and gets to spam on Mir through the wall.
Mir was itching his nose like, I'm safe here. Oh, well, okay, my kneecaps have just been blown out. Cheers, James. Appreciate that.
I feel like you would lose more than 27 HP if your kneecap got blown out. I feel like if we were to translate IRL to HP numbers, I think a knee blowout is probably like a solid leaves you with 40.
Fair enough.
What do you think? Maybe not quite 40. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't much.
Oh, okay, Dexter. He's given them a chance. He's given them at least a slither to get back into this. Tagged down heavily. Will probably drop that AK to one of his teammates, I'd imagine, with this low HP. But then again, he is the star player, so why not? Keep it in his hands. No one has Kevlar anyway, so aim punch is going to be an issue, whatever way you spin it. And the fact that James gets caught from that boost now puts us down into a 3-on-3. The one-tap potential all 3 players from Spirit currently possess. What they don't possess is a bomb site. And that is going to be an issue when they have no flashes or smokes to play off. But Sundai Young is trying to thread his way through on main and takes the head of Yakinda. Now the site's open for business. There is a player in the form of Sanji who's down in Pop Dog. And at this kind of range with no Kevlar, it will rip and shred straight through Spirit. 20 seconds to play with. Smoke now clearing on main side. And he's just waiting for the cross, that pixel. While Kikut goes in for the flank. 2 MP9s typically would be a rough situation for the CTs, but against the armorless players, this is where it thrives. 7 seconds to go. Spirit may have been too slow, may have over-egged the pudding and overthought things. Flashbang out. Can't deny the plant. He wanted to go for that peek, but he's waiting for Kikut to show his hand now through on main. Flashbang goes out, but Kikut is there to pick up the pieces. All falls to Sundai Young. 100 HP to his name. He needs quick-fire headshots. And nearly bags the frag onto Kikut. Going up the ladder, now on E-Box. Goes in for the spray, but Kikut's up to the task. However, that round is so much more costly for VP than they expected.
Oh, absolutely. You are dead on there, but luckily they're able to get the defuse. They didn't have that much investment from their players coming into that. A couple of guys were on 9s, and that's the 2 people that are able to go pick up fallen weapons, and so the others will be able to rebuy around this. But as you said, just the stress of having to deal with the close round, you feel like you should be walking away with it with ease. I mean, Jane got the opening pick right off the bat. We're talking about blown kneecaps. I mean, it seemed like a foregone conclusion, then it wound up just unraveling into a really chaotic round, but all the while, VP still take it. Double up now coming into this round.
A real upward trajectory for VP after things were looking dire at one point. 4-1 score. Jane has got a lot of opening picks. Again, we were talking about the impact of the AWPs, and so far he's lived up to that task. Molotov climbs up the ladder towards Chopper, takes a little bit of a chunk, and Yekindar there will be alerted to his presence, playing a different angle.
Oh. Mir trying to switch weapons, anticipating that he might get pushed here. I thought maybe Yekindar might find a great timing onto him. Sanji gets caught, though, trying to peek into ladder late. Now it's Yekindar versus Mir. Mir having the AK in the battle, but Yekindar wins, holding on to this territory for a bit, but he's getting pinched from both sides. He cannot escape. It would have been the nade or the bullets that would have ended him, but still, a player ahead is going to be VP.
A player to the goods. Magix has been forced away from main, but they do have Chopper, who's acting as that first point of call, the spearhead of the push onto B. And he's about to find out the B site is entirely clear. There's going to be no nightmare scenario again with Yekindar waiting in the wings. He is no longer a threat on the server, momentarily sidelined. Chopper getting up close, realizing that a gamble must be made, and Kickert with the M4 sprays to his head just about quick enough. Magix can sit down on the side, going for the plant. That Molotov lands too high. It actually explodes in midair. It whiffs, and that allows Magix now to play around that. Gives him a chance. That molly would have done a lot of damage, forced him out into the open for one of these AWPs. Instead, he's rummaged around the back of the side towards Kickert, and now this flank turns into a potential round-winning moment for Magix. He's trying to bait out the shots. He could separate them into 2 separate 1v1s and is actually doing it. Magix somehow, someway has brought it down into a 1-on-1, and Jane has to go to the backside of the site. He can try and stick onto the site right now and is hoping for the best. It's going to come down to another second. No, Magix! He still loses the round. It's such a nice effort. You feel like he's done enough to deserve to win. But Jane, with ice in his veins, goes for the full defuse.
What a roller coaster out of emotions this round is, because there was a big error there. Kickert must have known that the guy was behind him. His teammate spotted him with the op, but he didn't turn around. He kept walking towards the bomb, and so Magix is able to get the free kill. Gets him into a 1v2 against 2 ops and almost pulls it off, but his aggression forward betrayed him with the bomb placement. And Jane able to sneak the defuse through at just the nick of time, keeping VP out in front. But again, huge economic repercussions for both teams there. Both teams walk away from that round having to repurchase a lot of weaponry, keeping economies vulnerable. That grenade, oh, name's written all over it, Vince.
Yekindar gets blasted. Not sure what happened to that grenade. It did just seem to disappear into the nether realm, but the weakened Chopper has been finished off. Sundai Young getting baited out. There's a team kill. That's so unfortunate. You can't really blame Buster for that one. There's every chance they both get headshotted and the round just falls into disarray. It looks a bit foolish, but such is Counter-Strike sometimes. Jane won't be anticipating 2 players to be up there so close, and Dexter punishes him, neutralizes down Jane, and in doing so starts to take a bit of control over A.
That's a couple of times James just put himself in awkward space, just kind of really gambling that no one's going to be doubling up on him. And I feel like it's cost him his life at least 2 or 3 times this half, where he's just been in just such a, again, just kind of no man's land. 2-on-2, Buster steps out, gets bombed down. Dexter will chase, gets the kill, comes down to this 1v1, Vince.
A 1v1 where Dexter has the range advantage, but no idea as to where Kickit currently sits. And with time so low, he has to go for a site. Kickert, oh, just for a moment, I thought he was going to get flicked.
Yeah, he got the dink, not the finish immediately, so there was a hope maybe Dexter might flick, but not going to happen. As I think Kickert spotted Dexter slip behind the box, and Dexter did not get the same type of information, so Kickert certainly had to jump on him there to finish the job. So despite James getting caught, his teammates come through. And it's going to be another round of VP now, up 7-4 on Spirit's pick. Spirit now out of funds. We'll have to come with this with just the tech mines and the AK and limited utility. I also have to applaud VP's aggression. They've been pushing box halls and making it a real hassle for their opponents. Kicker lines up too.
Has to fall back, runs out of ammunition, but he has his trusty sidearm, and James watching over from Connector, always in the right place at the right time. A quick fire triple for Kickert, and Spirit already down into a 1-on-5. Chopper, no control over the bomb, no real hope of getting his hands on that anytime soon. He's going to try and maybe rotate round Connector. The only luxury he has right now is time. That's it. He wants to die before the end of time. He knows that he's basically going to sacrifice himself. Round loss bonus will be coming up. Can get a full AK and a full dosage of grenades. Nice frag onto Buster. Take as many weapons away. VP's economy is far from secure. These are all very much worth their weight in gold as far as Spirit are concerned. Yes, the last 5 or 6 rounds has been going against them, but the bigger picture suggests that if Chopper can do a ton of damage here, it could be enough to still get them a decent half of Counter-Strike. FAMAS picked up. That won't be good enough for the next round. Chopper unlikely wants to hold on to this one. He's been found from Yekindar, and he has been fragged by Yekindar. Still landed a headshot. Chopper's in some fine form right now. 11 and 8, and he's hitting his shots.
Yeah, it's a good sign. At least you're looking at dots on some people. The problem is that some of the other players on this team that are usually relied upon to pop off are not. Mir in particular, very absent so far on this map with a 2-10. Usually he's that guy right next to Dexter. Is kind of that 1-2 punch that provides the star fragging power for the Spirit squad. And again, when you're on your map pick, where theoretically you should feel the most confident in your abilities and what patterns you'd like to operate, to see Mir struggle this much is a really bad sign. He's like the only one on the server that's really that far down, except for maybe Buster, who's also had a cold start.
Yeah, I think Buster for me is maybe the biggest surprise on VP. A lot of the kills, though, haven't really been forthcoming. The rest of the teammates really have stepped up. Mia, I think, is the player that I'm looking at right now and scratching my head a little bit about, because on Spirit, he was at one point the most hotly discussed and I would say probably most hyped player from the CIS region that wasn't in Na'Vi. A lot of people were expecting to see him do great things, and he has done some fantastic performances in the past, but he's 10 and 2, or 2 and 10, I should say, and hasn't really done too much on this T-half.
No, not at all. We are again seeing Spirit take kind of their same slow, methodical posturing early. Sanji inside ladder room. This time we'll get the frag onto Chopper. Smoke comes on the T-Con, blocking Spirit's pathway in that they were hoping to put to use. Now they have to reroute with time crunch against them. 35 seconds on the clock as they try to bring this bomb back around. Boxhall's being cleared by some Die Young, but James is on cloud with the op. Will he get flashed opposition? No, and he'll land the shot because of it.
Kickers posted at the back of the site as well with a FAMAS. They're okay to deny or to allow the bomb plant to come in. Does get tickled. Magics can plant safely at the top. Successful post plant comes in. Grenades won't do enough damage, but Kickert at least thins out the pack. Down to 1. And that will be Dexter. No Molotov. Only a flashbang by his side, and he's still worried and concerned about a possible flank. Unbeknownst to him, not the case. Smoke comes out. First frag goes his way, but Sanji returns the favor. And VP move to a 9-4 lead.
They're starting to grab control of this game. Vince starting to make this map pick from Spirit backfire. Not quite hit that critical mass just yet, but it's starting to trend that direction just based on how these rounds have been playing out. Again, it feels like Spirit are just putting themselves in a pressure cooker by attempting to play the slower style and just struggling to get those initial entries that they need to make things easier on themselves. They try to, guard the post plant. They are always a man behind, it feels like, when VP go for these retakes. Still are able to keep buying, though, because they keep getting bomb plants. So AKs and utility will be coming out. Jane looking for something aggressive at inner halls. This time, no one will oblige him. Meanwhile, Yekindar also putting out a little bit of pressure at Ivy, but he might get run down. That nade, I can't believe they don't try to punch on him there. They actually just fall back. Someday they'll catch a Sanji at ladder, so at least they find an opening elsewhere.
I think it's because they respect VP enough to think that if he's pushing out aggressively, there's possibly a second player there watching, and there actually was. Buster was watching it with the AWP. So as soon as Yekindar pulls back, he knows that he has to watch his teammates back. Spirit have picked up the first frag regardless, though. Sanji's gone down. Yekindar up on the boost. On connector. Sprays him with the orb. Connects the headshot. Oh, they so nearly lined up for Kicker to get 2. Both Sundar Young and Mia are exceptionally close to death, and Mia has now been catapulted out the round alongside Sundar Young. The weak are cold. Now Dexter has to try and come back from such a vast deficit. Won't be happening. And VP, who are 4-2 behind not even that long ago, have now extended the lead to 10-4 in their favor.
Yeah, 8 unanswered rounds here from VP, just starting to really clamp down defensively. All right, peel that plastic off, man. It actually is bothering me. Get the plastic off the monitor. I know it's not relevant, but especially the satisfaction you get from peeling the plastic off, man. It's like one of your favorite things to do when you get into electronic, isn't it?
The packaging.
Yeah, are you a big fan of peeling the plastic off of like a new electronic product, like a monitor or a TV or a phone?
I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit indifferent to it.
Oh wow, man! Come on.
It is what it is.
You're like one of those guys that also probably hates bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap's like oddly satisfying.
But this is the same thing, basically. I mean, not the same thing, obviously, but a similar satisfactory feeling, I feel.
I could see it, to be fair. Just does nothing for me personally.
Won't take that any further. I'm trying not to get fired. I've held on for a day and a half, so I think I can make it to the home stretch if I just keep my mouth shut.
Last round of the half. Team Spirit will be desperate for a 5th. Remember, this is their choice of map. This is where we felt like maybe they'd get a bit of success. It looked that way in the opener 4 or 5 rounds, but since then it's just all been VP. Mia, joined by the rest of the gang, pushing down on ramp. James doesn't want to go in for another peek. Flashbang is good, affords him safe passage, but somehow Mia was unaffected by that flash. I thought it hit everybody pushing down ramp. A really nice tactic regardless, though. We'll see Spirit get up close on connector, and it seems they will start and finish this half in winning ways. Buster, Kicker, and Yekindar, the last bastions of hope for VP to take an 11-4 lead come the second half. Yekindar making moves around the back already on 13 frags, but that's where his half will end. Buster a little bit off the boil will follow suit. Kicker, last man standing, at least posts up 1. Could very well be a second, but it won't. Magix secures the 10-5. VP will lead, and we'll be back after a break.
On the sunny coast of southern France, DreamHack Masters took to Marseille in the spring of 2018. A tournament stacked with every top team in the world and a few up-and-coming underdogs. We were about to see some first-class Counter-Strike action.
Now trying to lead by example. He's picked up 3 and Dupree's got the final.
I remember that tournament as one of my best individually, actually. We brought in Magisk. We had a lot of time to prepare. We had some qualifiers online, stuff like that. We were so ready for that tournament.
Coming into the tournament, Astralis had shown great results online, but had missed out on being on top of the podium for some time.
Going into the quarterfinal at DreamHack Masters Marseille, I knew that of course it was going to be tough for us, but I still felt like that we were playing so well coming into the tournament, and I felt like that we could beat anyone.
They're all up there.
Rain down to 19. Rain just has to be sacrificial. Oh my goodness, Sipex, that was beautiful. He schools them in the round.
When we played the games, it just felt so natural, so easy. Like every guy just kept making 2 or 3 kills when somebody ran into them. So, I mean, if you play like that, then it's going to be easy to win Counter-Strike games.
JW's got the off in his hands.
By the fountain, going to position, and he gets the headshot on Flusher as well. My God. To the side, Golden trying to find his way in. Device going to take 2 in a row, and that might be another quad kill to end it. All of the headshots, and 16-5.
After an easy road to the grand finals, only Na'Vi stood between them and the trophy.
felt like it would be a tough final, but I don't think that the Navi players could actually get into our heads, or like every time we just saw them, we just got a multi-frag or something like that.
Navi had destroyed the opponents on their side of the bracket and came into the finals with Simple in fantastic shape.
They have enough time to rotate, they're not going to go for it. Here comes Regis, he's not going to get the spray on point, but Glaive could. Through the smoke, he's trying to find a way to kill Simple, who simply will not fall. And now Glaive to be pushing this one, and he's got the kill! Astralis are victorious!
Oh, there you saw the history of DreamHack Masters Marseille, but into the here and now, 3 years later, we find ourselves at DreamHack Masters Spring, and one of these two teams will be eliminated come the end of this match, Dust.
I was wondering whose sexy voice that was on that last little round we saw on that recap. Might that have been Metus, I think his name was?
Perhaps.
There you go. I wouldn't know what that feels like, so it feels bad. One day. One day. I see two teams fighting and try to find themselves still in the race for playoffs. VP, a hot start on their CT side, getting those 10 rounds. It started slow, but then they had a little bit of a winning streak there. I think they had like 9 unanswered rounds before finally Spirit fit in that final one.
All quiet on the B front. Spirit dip in. The only player that's been spotted thus far is Yakindar, who pops off the head of Mia.
My goodness.
And he's just playing games and playing with the hearts of Spirit. Chopper is going to start to get aggressive as he looks to peek in towards the box balls. Sanji round the corner with the Glock. This is typically where the Glock will shine, though. Faster fire rate, more bullets, and just way more accurate in these kind of confrontations. Spirit in trouble.
Yeah, you can't blame him for going for that. You know that you're in a 4v5. You have to kind of make a play for intel and try to even the numbers. Didn't pan out, though. Now they're even further behind. I put you on that slippery slope, and they're just getting pegged on all fronts right now. Vince, not a single player for VP goes down. They're already so far ahead, and that pistol will set them further on that track. It's now Spirit have to make a decision. If you force buy here and you lose, then you're full saving, and that's going to allow VP to jump up to 13, and you're not going to have very many chances to stop them from getting to map point at that juncture. So the commitment to go for a Nova in a scout as well as the Eagles is a bit of a dice roll against the fully decked out rifles of VP, all Galils and AKs.
And I can only assume that he's going to play the Nova in Pop Dog.
Yeah. Not the only place you really could, except for maybe like inside inner sight on the bomb train or something like that.
Even then, it's very interesting. You go for a Nova as opposed to a pistol, but I suppose the kill reward is far higher.
Sure.
So if you want to build up that bank balance for the latter rounds, Mia's waiting behind that smoke. Again, he's had a very off game so far. Plenty of assists, but his ADR is low, and he hasn't had that impact you expect from a player of his caliber. Buster puts him down with the Galil. Nice shot from Magix. He does typically secondary AWP over on the Ivy side. But definitely want to watch out for if they are afforded that luxury later on. Chopper opens up with a deagle, but a damage, and Dexter finishes off the frag onto Jane. Chopper's been mollied off a couple of times, as will Dexter from Connector. But it will be a post plant. Now all of the pressure swivels around from VP onto Team Spirit. Some Young is just playing Smoke Simulator. He's been stuck in Pop Dog for what will feel like an eternity from his perspective. And the Nova at this range sucks, but he still puts the headshot in. What the hell is that? It was a low kick up, but even still. And now Yakindar has to secure a 4K if he wants to take this round for his team. Dexter peeks in, spray is good. The bomb gets tickled but not fully defused, and some Young does not have a kit. It seems like Yakindar, even with dying, has got the job done. But VP narrowly escape embarrassment.
Yeah, I can't believe that Nova actually worked. He was stuck, and he knew that he had to like find a way to creep out to have any hope at making the Nova have impact. But unfortunately for him, the player decides to slide up to E-Box, try to do a little bit of a unorthodox peek, as he thought maybe the guy later would be distracted by the player he had already been facing, and he thought he could like slip in and grab a freebie, and unfortunately he got pumped full of lead. But still, due to the clock, he's able to find victory. Now very close to that 13th round. They've done a lot of economic damage, though. They're keeping VP's economy in check, so they would actually theoretically have a superior buy next round than VP would. But the problem is that they're just so far behind now on their map pick as well. And probably one of the weaker maps in VP's pool the last 6 months in comparison to some of the rest, including Inferno, which we'll see next.
Yeah, that for me is the most terrifying prospect. Is like VP may very well be moving 1-0, moving into Inferno. That is pretty scary. Now, sure, Spirit will be starting on the CT side of Inferno, but VP are no slouches on their T side. However, that's in the future. In the here and now, in the present, Spirit are still trying to hold on desperately by a thread here on Train. Players in off angles such as Dexter, but he is alone. 4 players stacked towards Ivy. Spirit taking some gambles and risks, understandable with this significant lack of weaponry. It's really only Young that has anything to talk about. But this has 13-5 written all over it. So hard to see how Spirit can somehow take this round and make it theirs.
Would take a huge blunder, you'd have to imagine, from VP. Are them running into a stack? And, well, Spirit had the numbers in the right place right now. Buster could call this pants down as he's trying to line up a smoke, and Dexter's right there in front of his face, but he'll catch on to it. We'll get in, but again, this stack has a chance at some impact.
That's the bomb. The bomb gets dropped down from Young, who's exceptionally low, gets finished off by Kickert. There's a slight gap in that smoke. Kickert now going in for the full plant. Successfully gets it done, and the threat has been by and large dissipated, and this round falls into position. Chopper would do wise not to peek that angle again, but he only has a USP, and Stanji puts him out of his misery. 13-5, but Spirit do have a buy coming up.
Indeed they do, and again, they will probably be a little bit better off as it's going to be 3 Galils, or 2 Galils and 1 AK carried over. A couple of AKs will be able to get bought around that with no AWP for Jane. But they have a lot of cushion surrounding them in their lead. So for them, it's really no matter. As it will be rifles aplenty. Double op immediately in play. And I mean, that's just the double-edged sword though, Vince. It's either works and great, that gets you back on track, but if it fails, you have no money to challenge VP when they go for map point.
I respect it though, knowing it's probably one of their last real opportunities. You might as well grab onto it with both hands for dear life. Jane gets naded down. This is a good way of dealing with it though. The flashbang is good, but Chopper and Magic's are tag teaming together in tandem. And just tearing apart Virtus.pro, Kickert caught in the catwalk. Sanji, other side of the world, no chance to have any impact on what just occurred. And Spirit, we just talked about how they need to take their opportunities, and what they took it and then some.
Absolutely. Just shutting down inner push. I thought when the first few bullets missed on top of that inner pop dog train that maybe there's a chance for VP to break through, but Matches and company able to make that rotation. Matches gets his. Young also grabs one. And so there you have it. A 6th round for Spirit, and they maintain all weapons, including the double op. So that expensive investment gets carried over, allows them to build up a little bit of bank, and there's no money left for VP. They will have to likely save maybe Tech-9s at best coming into the next round. And so very likely you're going to see it be 7-13 before VP are able to get a full buy. And if Spirit can win the next round clean, they'll be able to build up some reserve, keep double op going, and try to start chipping away at this massive lead that VP has built over the course of Train thus far.
Brick by brick, they rebuild their Train CT side. It's going to be a slow process, but at least they've got the first brick in place. They have enough in reserve with the cash that they've just accrued by saving both of those orbs plus the 2 AKs. But as you touched on there, Dust, it's not as if VP have a ton to put into this round. I'm curious if they'll try and force behind this Galil or if they'll play the longer haul. We do have a timeout called, maybe to decide exactly where they go from here.
Not a bad idea. Definitely both teams want to take as much time as they can to think about these next few steps because they will determine quite a lot. It could still be a very quick VP victory as long as they win their next buy after the full save. Or maybe they're trying to think to themselves what we can spend while still not hamstringing our first full buy. Maybe some Tech-9s, you know, a little bit of utility buy down to a certain amount. Give themselves a fighting chance in this next round. So definitely a couple of different things that could be being discussed here.
Uh-oh. Headset off and a player stood up. That's normally a sign of a technical issue.
Could be a bio issue.
True. Looking around, can hear the tapping of typing in the background. Not entirely sure what is going on. As soon as we find out, we'll relay it to you guys. What we do know, though, is the current score is 13-6. And although VP have been on a tear lately, Spirit have the building blocks at their disposal to try and come back into this. It's mainly been Magix that's caught my eye. We haven't really seen, again, Dexter pop off the way that we'd maybe expect him to.
Sure. Definitely a map where you want him to establish himself as quick as possible. Especially now that you're playing from behind, you're on the CT side. You need that op to get unleashed to try to claw your way back into this. That'd be one of the best ways forward. He's holding one of them. And indeed, it's the full save for everyone other than Sanji. So yeah, definitely being smart with the spending on the VP side of things. Realizing the lead that they have, that they don't need to risk anything here.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm actually certainly a fan of that. I was curious with VP being a team that definitely likes to be slippery and maybe a little bit unpredictable if they would go for some kind of a purchase, but Sanji with the Galil will be keeping that because no one else has Kevlar. I feel like under normal circumstances, he's probably dropping that to like Hiko or Yakinda.
Right.
But lack of Kevlar suggests he will be the main man. He is the raid boss as it stands.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to try to explode in or maybe just try to at least get a bomb plan out of this situation. Kind of the go-to eco strat for Train for years and years. There is a player, though, up close. It's going to be Chopper. Trying to stop that from happening as he plays this angle by Oil. Gets his kill and falls back. Bomb will get planted, though, because of this decision. But just thinking better of the victory rather than the extra money that VP will collect.
Yeah, exactly. This will be a case of VP being picked off. Not a single kill, though a headshot was delivered to Sundai Young. And I think in an odd twist of fate, both teams will be relatively happy with that outcome. You know, sure, they conceded the bomb plant, but they kept all their players alive, so their money is really starting to flourish now on Team Spirit, and VP are like, cool, we just got a better buyout of that.
Yep, especially since they invested nothing there, right? All Glocks. So they'll be sitting pretty. James should have an AWP, should have all the utility they could ever want, and they're going to put their best foot forward. And this is, again, we're starting to get a feel for how valid Spirit's comeback argument is going to be. It's definitely still up for debate as they've not been tested just yet. There's been no counterpoint that VP could really throw out there, but now there is. With the op on the field and the utility aplenty.
So many grenades already put down, though, to deny any main control. And really, VP weren't interested anyway. Jane slowly peeking around the corner, and Magix is looking up. They must have run boosted across before he saw anything. I didn't quite catch that. But the fact that Magix was still watching that angle as opposed to the right-hand side is a massive oversight on his part.
Yeah, the left eye peek in this game can really haunt you. And as you said, just not noticing that cross winds up being a huge problem. Sundai Young being caught up close here, being chipped away at. Incendiary, though, will force Yakindar back, not allowing him to try to pursue Sundai Young any further, but again, still an early 5-on-4 for VP without having to really spend too many resources to get it. Now you see Sundai Young and Mir trying to take more unorthodox positions to try to see if they can use that as a gimmick to try to fight back in this round despite being a step behind. Mir clears out T-Con, so getting a bit of intel, but there's still a lot of round left for that to be recaptured. At least for now, he knows it's not quite an execute coming just yet. We do see them split 2 to a site defensively. Smoke starting to come in from VP over towards ladder, and they want to just try to focus on getting through Ivy. See if they can't break through into the yard, but they have to deal with a pretty deadly crossfire here between Mir and Sundai Young.
A pretty deadly crossfire and only 20 seconds in which to utilize. There is no room for error, but Sundai Young gets caught in the side. Mir at least does avenge him. But will that be good enough? 10 seconds to play with. Yakindar is forcing the plant down. Sanji is watching towards connect at the time. It could not have been worse. Yakindar does force it, though. And Mia doesn't check below him, and he gets punished. Yakindar with the AK at range, puts him out of his misery. And now 2v2 falls into position. Dexter has started to come alive these last few rounds, but can he feasibly pull this one off? James is watching connector. So is Yakindar. This is giving a few blind spots across right now from VP. They had no idea where Dexter was pushed in. James is being shoulder peeked, hoping they can draw up that shot. Time is so low though, and Dexter has the kit, but he's been found and fragged. And James is gonna clutch it down. The 1v2. Such an integral moment in this game, and he has made that his.
They also made a bit of a blunder with that smoke placement. They were trying to cover the bomb to maybe sneak a defuse through, but the smoke bounced a little too far, and so it would have been such an easy spam shot if they did try to get on the bomb. And Jane playing so smart by staying behind cover to where he can't be taken down. He can just keep milking the clock. And they come up with the victory. They'll take a timeout as well, just to make sure that they talk through exactly how they want to repurchase all of their weapons and how they want to collect utility and just maybe, you know, get a calming sense back after the excitement of winning such a big round. Get everyone back focused up. The Spirit will go right back into double op play. Again, you lose this round, though. You're out of funds when VP goes for the victory, so definitely has its setbacks if it fails, but this is what's worked for them thus far on this climb back into the game, so you can't blame them for feeling that this is their best chance forward. But here we go. Possibly only a couple rounds left here on train events unless Spirit can dig deep. Mirror's still awfully quiet.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen into obscurity on this map, in all honesty. Double AWPs are really the bread and butter of Spirit's CT side. They do love to go in for this, or a lot in the DreamHack Opens. Over the last 6 months, it was their tried and tested strat, but VP, they've got their own AWP. The problem here, though, Dust, is they don't have too much utility. Only 2 smokes remain with so much time left on the clock.
That was the cost of that coming down to, you know, a 1v2 situation that was actually in favor of Spirit when it came to man count, because it sets you back on the rebuy here. Mirror finding first action, the man we were talking about, able to take Kicker down. Yukendar, though, with that flash, able to trade instantly.
That's a beautiful flashbang.
Absolutely.
And one and done.
No smokes left, though, now. It's all going to come down to brawling to get a side open and to cover some of the angles on the post plant. We do see this, though, from Yukendar sneaking into back halls. This could be interesting, Vince. This could really break something open. Or he could just get absolutely busted.
Magic's had the clarity of mind to just double-check the Ivy side. Interestingly, and quite curious, VP, with a lack of utility, as we highlighted before, who were starting to get a bit of A control, decide to just back out of there and go to B instead. They've got 1 flash left, and this needs to be perfectly placed. It is going to proceed the push-down ramp. Dexter won't be going in for that peak. This allows James to go in for a play of his own, but Chopper comes out second best against Sanji. And the remainder of Spirit are all clumped together in connector. No flank element in play. No reason for VP to extend too far out either. They've got good positions. Buster's watching CT side. James has got his back covered, and this is looking great. Buster, though, will get clipped by some Young, but already half of that timer has come and passed. Sanji, big headshot onto some Young, leaving it all on Dexter. I'm sure as to where that second player is. Oh, he's missed this sitter from Dexter's perspective. That gets the much more difficult shot. Wallbang, no scope, but he doesn't really have time, and no chance against James, and their economy is in the bin, so he has to just back out and save. A bitter pill to swallow, and VP have 8 map points.
He didn't fancy their chances when they had such limited utility. It all really came down to the fact that in the moment that the inner sight was taken, Chopper was looking upper, and so Sanji gets a freebie with the Galil to get his team man advantage and make sure that bomb goes down. Then it all comes down to the retake. And as you said, such a brilliant setup with James and Buster. Buster knew he could focus on under Cloud because he knew that James had the cross. And that really helps them finish things off.
Spirit with a 4-1 formation. It's only Chopper alone on the B site with a FAMAS. Just a smoke as well. No incendiary or anything else to hold off the push if it is forthcoming. They have the aggressive element of Dexter and Magix to try and take some Ivy control, but Sanji is pushed all the way back. That shoulder peek gets a bit of information, and Magix knows he cannot afford to go too aggressive here. AK will definitely triumph over the FAMAS at that kind of a range. So he pulls back, puts the smoke down, and then they go to stack on B.
Yeah, indeed they do. They kind of have to rely on a big hold, right? Because they don't have the utility to retake with. They have a couple of kits, sure, but It would be best to get the job done here and now with the inferior firepower, especially the MP9. You want to just be able to get up close and try to take someone out quickly and try to upgrade. Looks like the intertake is coming though, Vince. And like you said, the stack of 2 players could come into play, but the rotation's a bit off now, except for Dexter with the AWP. But if he gets blocked off by a smoke at C, then it comes down to these 2-player defense. They re-smoke that ramp, again stalling VP further and further as the time is starting to get low. Looks like VP are going to have to just play through it, Vince.
Chopper's position is like TS equivalent to be dangled on the edge of a fishing rod. Any flashes and he is fully blinded. Won't be able to see a single thing. Dexter's there to help him out though, and now Chopper can open up with the FAMAS. An exquisite hold, but Sanji and Jame are going to try and throw a wrench in the works. This is all adding up as well in terms of damage. Jame tickles the bomb. He's up onto the open. Big shot and dies just before time. With 3 players going down, even with 2 saved weapons, the economy of Spirit still in rough shape.
Indeed it is. They got to think about the long haul because they have to march forward quite a ways. And so while they definitely should win this next round, as VP have no money to spend, the next round they don't have to do a whole lot of rebind, because if you do, it's going to limit your utility that you can bring forward. It's going to limit what type of weapons you can have. And so, again, not only do you have to win, but you have to win clean to make sure that you kind of keep your best foot forward for the rest of the way through this game as you try to march 7 more in a row to get to overtime. Jame will have the 1 AK because he has the head armor as well, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I would have thought someone else would have that.
Oh. Well, we just teleported into the past. This was the previous round.
Okay. Why not? See it again.
Just to save any confusion. Right, we're back. We're back live again. VP with their Deagles and the AK. Yeah, and I agree. I think it's mainly because Jame probably has the Kevlar that they decide to go in for that one, but it is a bit of a head scratcher. Not that he's by any means bad with the AK, but you've got players like Yakindar on the server. But surely this is where Spirit
He's also
can
just generally really passive. And you kind of need that AK to be the tip of the spear to open up something for your team. But maybe he'll make a pivot, shift the gears, and try to take charge. He's going to have to just kind of dry peek something and hope for the best, as Mir's already found Yakindar on the opposite end here. Go for the boost play, but Magic already... Oh, there's the double swing instead, and it works!
Manji on 7, surviving. Delivering the fatal blow with a Deagle. Now, I think the weapon dropped on top of the train, so at least they can't go and retrieve that easily. And Mia, sensing that danger, has gone to go and cover it to be completely sure. Remaining 3 players now congregating in main, where their final resting place for round 24 will be. However, it was by and large just Eagles. They won't be able to get a buy in this round either, though.
Nope. Yeah, their economy is in complete disarray, man, after some of the exchanges that took place earlier on. Meanwhile, Mir's starting to heat up a little bit. Again, at one point, this guy was like 2-10. Now he's up to 11-19 with 6 assists. So, I mean, he's starting to get a little bit of something going. And this one, Spirit need it most. They need their stars to dig deep because they still have a tall task ahead of them to climb back into overtime. Now must win the next 6 in a row. This one seems like a formality, but the next few are going to be where they're truly going to have some real grit. It is mostly just Galax here for VP. So, again, this should be done with soon with no real cause for concerns.
Run boost coming in again. Magix this time did catch a glimpse of the ankle just as it landed. So Sanji, well, pardon me, it wasn't Magix, it was actually Dexter this time. Sanji won't be fragged out for that shoulder peek. And a smoke just behind it. So any chance of getting a pick on Ivy seems like it has pretty much dwindled in a heartbeat. And yeah, those dangers are few and far between on the side of VP. It's looking very likely that Spirit will pick up a 10th, especially as the bomb has dropped down first on main, and Kicker soon follows his teammate.
I guess we need to see the spray again.
Yep, got him.
Dead. Oh, he dead. Everyone dead. Bang, bang. Bang.
Listen, it was such a straightforward round, we had to put a bit of spice on it, you know?
Yeah, I'm down.
A couple of effects here and there.
I like it when we get a little curveball thrown at us every now and then. See how we respond. Get our natural reactions. I should have made the
Tactical
sound
timeout.
effects. I'm actually sad I didn't take advantage of that.
Yeah, try and, like, you should have done the reverse gunshot sound. Yeah.
Would have been good, but timed poorly.
Right, now this is a true test of your skill, you know, being, as we've said, the person that did actually make the Zeus sound. Can you do a reverse Zeus sound?
Ah.
Not bad, actually. Better than expected.
I had no expectations. Why is this my life?
5 more map points. VP this time do have a buy and an AWP in the hands of Jane. But early grenades tossed onto main. This has been the staple of Spirit, though. Tons of nades onto main, funnel them away, and then hope to get them in the latter stages of the round.
This is a big moment for Spirit. If you can win this one, you get money back low for VP. That puts you at 12, and that's when VP start to feel the sweat. Dropping Moretti's all over the floor. Speaking of which, fun fact, a Moretti is actually an Italian beer.
I did not know that. Today I learned.
Yeah, Scrawny actually showed it to me one day. Said he sat down with a nice ice-cold Moretti, and I was like, intrigued. Scrawny is doing some interviews for us here at DreamHack Masters throughout the week.
In terms of what could be the final round of Train, Dexter has plucked out Sanji, who was looking to try and push through Ivy, while flashbang no less. Some Young are trying to bolster up Ivy, where Dexter has struck twice. And VP, in terms of this round, have been completely read and completely dispatched. No real retort or answer, not a single point of damage in return.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit grim when it comes to the VP perspective, but if you're rooting for the Spirit comeback, well, it's well underway. Dexter with 3 kills this round. I mean, Yekindar, no hope. Getting tagged before his feet ever hit the floor. Never a chance. And so, again, you're starting to see Dexter heat up now as well. You know, he had a little bit of a cool start. I think he was like 13 and 14 at one point, so he's been able to, you know, only add 1 more death to that collection while really jumping up the frag numbers now that he's got an op in his hands on a consistent basis. And so, I mean, this is starting to get pressured now. That big lead has shrunk severely. Now it's just a Tech-9 buy up here. What if VP win this way, Vince? What if?
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen that, would it? Somehow
No,
always seems to happen.
Tech-9s are so powerful, man. They really are.
And I think it takes the pressure off in rounds like this as well. Like, it frees
Exactly.
you up to be a bit more aggressive, and it really plays into the strengths of this gun.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself, Vince, so I won't try. As they have plenty of flashes to barrage their way in with as well as the smoke they would want for sidewalk and perhaps deep towards Z. So it's all going to be the chopper, whether or not he can get kind of the first couple of kills. And Sinieri comes in, but way late.
Yeah, way too late. Already 3 players had pushed past that point. No way of Chopper knowing that, however. You can even see those flashes being tossed in. Smoke now down towards the train tracks, and there's also going to be just a full-on pile on the site. A 5v5 retake, and this is where the Tech-9s really shine their brightest. You have to walk into their prowess. You have to walk into their strong suit. And already damage is being inflicted. Bitcoin takes off the head of Dexter. Chopper goes down the same way, as does some Young. It's all down to Magix, who has to pull off a 1-on-4. And now he's got 3 more to find. Yekindar, 6 HP, has been finished off. Does a little bit of damage on the approach. The time is also exceptionally low. Smoke down onto the site. Sticks to the site itself. Goes in for the defuse. He's run out of time. VP are actually going to take this map with Tech-9s and P250s. And we'll be breaking down all the lunacy and madness after this break.